There is a mountain in Azerbaijan that has been burning for 4,000 years. No one lit it. No one can put it out. Locals call it the breath of the earth. Ancient travelers called it a doorway to another world. But the fire is only the beginning. Beneath this country lies a story older than empires, a story of conquerors, poets, oil barons, and a people who refused to disappear. This is Azerbaijan, the land of fire, and what you are about to see is unlike anywhere else on earth. Blue, red, green, a flag that once could not be flown, now rises over a nation reborn. To understand Azerbaijan, you must first understand where it sits, on the edge of two continents, pressed between giants. To the north, the snow-capped Caucasus Mountains. To the south, the deserts of Iran. To the east, the Great Caspian Sea, the largest inland body of water in the world. And stretching south, arid lowlands where dust devils swirl, and the heat bends the horizon like glass. Where the mountains meet the sea, the sunrise spills gold across the Caspian shore, and a new day begins. The way it has for millennia, for thousands of years, this land has been a crossroads. Armies marched through it, caravans crossed it, empires fought over it. Persians, Romans, Mongols, Ottomans, Russians, all came, all left their mark. But the Azerbaijani people remained, their culture, a rich fusion of Persian poetry, Caucasian warrior tradition, and ancient Zoroastrian fire worship. And before any of these religions arrived, Azerbaijanis worshipped something more primal, something that rose from the earth itself, fire, long before the first city, before the first written word. Someone climbed these rocks and carved their story into stone. Welcome to Gobustan, 40,000 years of human history, etched into rock, hunters with bows, women dancing in circles, images of a world that existed long before ours. Long boats with rowers, boats that should not exist in a landlocked desert, and yet, they do. Some archaeologists believe these boats prove a forgotten civilization, one that sailed across waters that have long since vanished. Before the carving, there was the act, a hand, a stone tool, and a message, meant to outlast its maker. Nearby, the earth itself seems alive. The ground bubbles, the mud breathes, and sometimes, it speaks. Azerbaijan holds nearly half of all the mud volcanoes on planet Earth. Hundreds of them, cones of cold gray clay pushing up from the deep. And sometimes, without warning, it explodes. Every few years, a pillar of fire shoots hundreds of feet into the sky, visible from space, a reminder that this land is alive beneath your feet. It is no wonder the ancients believed this was where gods walked, where fire was sacred, where the underworld was real. And from this ancient earth, a city rose, Baku, the capital, a city where the medieval and the futuristic live side by side, separated by a single street. Behind these honey-colored walls lies the old city, Ikarishar, over 1,000 years old, and still alive, where neighbors still greet each other by name, where the alleys remember every footstep. Children chase each other through streets their ancestors walked generations before. Bread bakes in stone ovens unchanged for 1,000 years. The smell drifts through the alleys like a promise. The Maiden Tower, 29 meters of solid stone, 8 floors, 1 spiral staircase, and not a single historian agrees on why it was built. Some say it was a fortress, others, a Zoroastrian temple. Some claim it was an astronomical observatory, aligned with the winter solstice. And then there is the legend, a king's daughter, a forbidden love, a leap from the tower, into the sea below. No one knows if the story is true, but every Azerbaijani child grows up knowing it, and every one of them looks at the tower, a little differently. But Baku's most famous treasure was never made of stone, came from below the ground, black, thick, and worth more than gold. Long before the modern world ran on oil, the ground around Baku was already bleeding it. Marco Polo wrote about it. Locals collected it in clay jars. Some used it as medicine. Some used it to set their enemies on fire. Then, in the 1800s, the world caught on, and Baku became the oil capital of the planet. At one point, half of all the oil on Earth came from this single city. Half. The Nobel brothers built their fortune here. Yes, those Nobels. The Rothschilds came. So did the Rockefellers. Mansions rose. Opera houses opened. Baku became known as the Paris of the Caucasus. But wealth like that always brings hungry eyes. And in the 20th century, those eyes belonged to Adolf Hitler. Hitler wanted Baku so badly that his generals reportedly gave him a cake shaped like the city. He never reached it. The Soviets held the line, and Baku's oil helped win the Second World War. The tanks rolled east, but they never made it to Baku. Today, the oil still flows, the wealth still pours in, and Baku has been transformed. Once again, 3 towers, each over 600 feet tall, shaped like tongues of fire. At night, they come alive, the flame towers, a tribute to the eternal fires that gave this country its name. And nearby, a building that looks like it fell from another planet, the Heydar Aliyev Center, designed by the legendary Zaha Hadid. Not a single straight line, not a single sharp corner. A wave, frozen in stone. Walk along the seaside boulevard at night, and Baku feels less like a Caucasus city, and more like a vision of the future. A city where families stroll under palm trees, while towers of flame glow behind them like a heartbeat. But step into a tea house just 1 block away, and you are suddenly in 1850, where old friends settle arguments over chess. And the steam from tea carries the weight of lifelong friendships. This is Azerbaijan, a country always living, in 2 times at once. And the contrast is not just beautiful. It is the very soul of this place, and no journey through this country is complete without sitting at its table. Azerbaijani food is a love letter written over 1,000 years. Persian spices,
Turkish technique,
Russian comfort, and a Caucasian boldness all its own. The crown of the table is plov, fragrant saffron rice layered with lamb, dried fruits, chestnuts, and crisped golden crust at the bottom. There is dolma, grape leaves stuffed with spiced meat and rice. Lavangi, chicken filled with crushed walnuts and pomegranate paste. Rich, deep, unforgettable. And dushbara, tiny dumplings so small that grandmothers compete over who can fold them smallest. And then there is the bread, baked the same way it was 1,000 years ago, slapped onto the burning walls of a tender clay oven, pulled from the fire, golden and crackling, the way it has always been done. But the true heart of the Azerbaijani table is the tea, served in those small pear-shaped glasses, sweetened with lump sugar held between the teeth, never the lips. Tea here isn't a drink. It's an invitation, a friendship, a negotiation, a wedding proposal, in old Azerbaijani tradition. If a family served a suitor-sweet tea, it meant yes. If the tea was bitter, the answer was no. Some say you can taste the answer before the words are ever spoken. But leave the table, step outside, and let Azerbaijan show you what lies beyond the city. But leave the capital, drive north, and Azerbaijan changes. Again, the skyscrapers vanish, the Caspian disappears behind you, and the world rises. Green, silent, ancient. This is the land of the highland villages, where life moves slower, where the language sounds older, where the past has not yet let go. Here, a shepherd's gaze carries the weight of generations. His flock, his mountain, his silence. High in these mountains lies a village so remote that for centuries, only a single dirt path connected it to the rest of the world. Its name is Khinalug, over 2,500 meters above sea level. one of the highest inhabited places in Europe, and the people who live here speak a language found nowhere else on Earth. Ketch, a tongue with no known relatives, a linguistic ghost. Some scholars believe these people are descendants of one of the oldest civilizations in the Caucasus, Caucasian Albania, a kingdom forgotten by most of the world. In Khinalug, winter lasts 7 months. The roads close, the snow buries the houses, and yet, no one leaves. Why? Ask anyone there, and they will tell you the same thing. This is home. This has always been home. Even the children know. This cold, this silence, this mountain. It is theirs. Travel further into the mountains, and the secrets only deepen. There is a place called Lahij, a village carved into a green canyon, where the air smells of wood smoke and hammered copper. For more than 1,000 years, the people of Lahij have made copper by hand. The ringing of their hammers is the heartbeat of the village. Their craft hangs in the breeze, catching light the way it has for centuries. And below their cobbled streets, something even older, a drainage system built 900 years ago, still working today. Further south, hidden in dense forest, lies a city tourists rarely visit, Sheki. And at the heart of Sheki sits a palace built without a single nail or drop of glue. Its windows, shabik, are made of thousands of tiny pieces of colored glass and wood, fitted together by hand. Inside, the walls explode with color. Hunting scenes, battle scenes, roses, tigers, dragons, painted by hand, untouched. For centuries, light pours through shabik glass, like a prayer made visible. And here too, a strange tradition survives. Halva so sweet, locals say, that one bite can stop an argument. They say, the proof is in the smile. But all of this, the cities, the mountains, the fires, the food, none of it would matter without the people. Azerbaijanis are known across the Caucasus for one thing above all: hospitality. There is a saying here, a guest is a gift from God. And once you cross the threshold of an Azerbaijani home, you are family. And when a story is told at the table, everyone listens, because here stories are sacred. In the bazaars, the energy is different. Louder, faster, alive. Mountains of saffron, pyramids of pomegranates, slabs of white sheep cheese. The colors alone could fill a painting. Dried fruits from villages whose names you have never heard. And everywhere, music, Mugham, a haunting, soulful form of singing, recognized by UNESCO as a treasure of humanity. The tar speaks first. Then the voice follows, carrying the weight of centuries. Mugham is not just music. It is grief, longing, love, and faith, woven into sound. And when an Azerbaijani sings Mugham, even strangers feel it in their chest. When the music fills a wedding, the whole village comes alive. But Azerbaijan's story is not only fire and feasts and song. It is also a story of loss. A single red flower on black stone. A name, a face, a life, taken too soon. In the 20th century, this country was swallowed by the Soviet Union. Its language was pushed aside. Its mosques were closed. Its history rewritten. A generation grew up in someone else's story, learning someone else's language, singing someone else's anthem. And in January of 1990, as the Soviet Union began to crack, the people of Baku rose. They wanted independence. They wanted their identity back. One flag, one voice, one people saying, enough. The Soviet army was sent in. Tanks rolled into the city at night. By the end of that darkness, hundreds of unarmed civilians were dead. Azerbaijanis call it Black January. Every year they return, with flowers, with silence, with memory that refuses to fade. And just months after that wound, another opened. A war over the mountainous region of Nagorno-Karabakh. A war that would not truly end. For 30 years, hundreds of thousands of Azerbaijanis were displaced from their homes. Entire towns emptied. Generations grew up as refugees. Within their own country, some carried nothing but a photograph and a prayer to return. In 2020, after decades of frozen conflict, Azerbaijan reclaimed much of that territory. The cost, on every side, was deep. Today, the land is slowly being rebuilt. New roads, new towns, new beginnings, on old ground, and for one father and his son. The view from this hill means everything, but beyond the headlines, beyond the wars, beyond the oil, Azerbaijan still keeps secrets that almost no traveler ever sees. There is a forest in the north called Herkin. It is older than the dinosaurs, a relic from a time before the Ice Age, when trees like these covered most of the northern hemisphere. They survived here in a single corner of Azerbaijan, when they vanished everywhere else. Even the animals here move like they belong to another time. In the south, there is a region called Talish, where the people speak their own language, sing their own songs, and live among waterfalls and hidden lakes, where the water crashes so hard it turns to mist, and the mist turns to rainbows. The Talish carry their traditions the way they carry their baskets, with grace and without hurry. And in the far west, there is Nakhchivan, a region completely cut off from the rest of Azerbaijan by other countries' borders. An exclave, a piece of Azerbaijan. Floating outside of Azerbaijan, Nakhchivan holds a legend most have never heard. Locals will tell you that this is where Noah's Ark came to rest. They will even show you his tomb, whether you believe the story or not. Standing in front of that quiet tomb, in that silent desert, it is hard not to feel that this land has seen something the rest of the world has forgotten. And high above, the fortress of Alinja watches over these mountains, as it has for 1,000 years. Modern Azerbaijan is a paradox. It is rich yet uneven, open yet guarded, future-facing, yet anchored deep in the past. Even on a busy street corner, the old and the new shake hands. Oil and gas still drive the economy. Pipelines stretch thousands of kilometers, carrying Azerbaijani energy to Europe and beyond. Workers on the Caspian rigs keep the black gold flowing, as they have for over a century. But the country is racing to change. Wind farms now rise above the Caspian coast. The land of fire is becoming a land of light. Solar fields stretch across former oil fields. A new kind of energy, for a new kind of future. Politically, the country is ruled by a single family that has held power for decades. Elections happen. Criticism is rare. The future, like the past, is tightly held. And yet, walk through the streets, talk to the people, sit in their homes, and what you find is not fear. It is pride. A deep, fierce, unmistakable pride. The next generation carries that pride forward. Laughing, learning, building. Pride in surviving, pride in rebuilding, pride in a flag that, for most of the last century, they were not allowed to fly. And that pride is not loud. It is quiet, steady, like a flame that has been burning for 4,000 years. And so we come back to where we began, to the mountain that burns, for 1,000 years of fire, for 1,000 years of empires rising and falling around it. And still, it burns. Maybe that is the real story of Azerbaijan, a country that has been conquered, divided, and broken, and yet refuses to go out. The fire on the mountain is not a symbol. It is promise, a promise that the past will not be forgotten, that the language will be spoken, that the songs will be sung, that the bread will still be baked on the walls of a clay oven. 1,000 years from now, Azerbaijan is not a country you visit. It is a country you feel, in the smoke of its kitchens, in the cry of its Mugham, in the silence of its mountains, in the fire that never dies. And on the shores of the Caspian, fishermen still pull their nets at dawn, just as their fathers did. Hands that know the sea, the way others know the land. In autumn, the pomegranate orchards blaze red across the northern hills, heavy with fruit the color of rubies. One hand, one fruit, One harvest, repeated for 1,000 years. A horseman rides across the open plain, dust trailing behind him like a memory that refuses to settle. The earth trembles under hooves that have crossed this land. Since before there were borders, at the village well, women gather the way they always have, with clay jugs and quiet conversation. Water pours from jug to bowl, the oldest sound in the oldest land. In the shade of a cafe, men play nard, the ancient game of backgammon that Azerbaijanis have turned into an art form. The dice fall, the pieces move, and somewhere between the rolls, a friendship deepens. Women weave carpets that will outlast them all. Every knot by hand, every color with purpose, every carpet a story. As the sun sets, the mosque calls the faithful to prayer. Inside, the light through stained glass paints the worshippers in colors older than the building itself. And in the silence between prayers, fingers move across beads worn smooth by a lifetime of devotion. In the dusty streets of a village, children play the only game that matters. The game of being young. One kick, one smile, one golden evening that will never come again. When a village celebrates a wedding, the whole world is invited. A bride in red and gold, a face that holds the hope of two families becoming one. And when Navraz arrives, spring itself seems to leap through the flames. On the Navraz tray, every element tells a story. Wheatgrass for rebirth, candles for light, eggs for new life. As the sun rises over the Caspian, the fishermen head out again. Another day, another catch, another prayer whispered to the wind. Lamb kebab over open coals. The smoke rises, the fat sizzles, and the whole neighborhood follows the scent. Along the Baku Boulevard at sunset, love walks hand in hand with the future. In a forgotten caravanserai, traders once unloaded treasures from 100 lands. The village blacksmith shapes iron the way his grandfather did. With heat, patience, and a steady hand, the metal glows, the hammer falls, and something useful is born. From fire, a winding mountain road at dawn, a single van climbing upward, the world opening, with every curve. In Ganja, Azerbaijan's second city, the bazaar pulses with life and dried fruit and laughter. Golden apricots, dark raisins, sweet dates, the taste of the countryside packed into paper bags. In the vineyards at sunset, a family picks grapes together, the way families have done here for centuries. Dark purple clusters placed gently into wooden baskets, each one a promise. Inside a centuries-old caravanserai turned restaurant, candlelight flickers on walls that have heard 1,000 stories. A bathhouse here is not just for washing. It is for thinking, for breathing. Water meets marble, steam rises, and for a moment, time stops. In spring, the villages bloom. Peach trees open their petals. Children run through fields of wildflowers. Even the bees seem to move more slowly here, savoring each blossom. A grandfather teaches his grandson the tar. The same strings, the same wood, the same melody, passed from hand to hand across generations. The boy's fingers stumble, the old man's guide, and somewhere between them, the music lives on. The folk dancers move like fire itself, controlled, beautiful, and impossible to look away from. Her hands speak a language older than words. An old stone bridge at sunrise. A fisherman casts his line, and the river answers. With silence, above the countryside, the stars come out, more than you have ever seen. Around a campfire in a mountain valley, travelers share stories the way people always have, under open sky. From the top of a mountain at sunrise, one traveler takes it all in. Every valley, every ridge, every breath of wind. In the Khan's garden at autumn, golden leaves fall, like the last pages of a long story. Each leaf catches the light one final time, before it lets go. Lake Goigal reflects the mountains so perfectly. You cannot tell which world is real. A single leaf lands on the water, and the reflection ripples, as if the lake itself is breathing. At the Bibi Haybat Mosque, the golden domes catch the last of the sun. and the Caspian glows in answer. The patterns on these walls were placed by hands that believed geometry was the language of God. On Navra's morning, children jumped the fire, not in fear, but in joy. A child's face, lit by flames, tells you everything you need to know about hope. In the village square, a wrestling match begins. 2 men, 2 grips, and the pride of the whole neighborhood. The stake. A young woman walks through modern Baku with the confidence of a country that has earned its place in the world. The ancient city walls of Sheki watch over a landscape that has seen more history than most countries. A calligrapher's pen touches paper, and ink becomes art. In the fields at sunset, women carry wheat the way their grandmothers did, with strength and without complaint. The wheat sways in the evening breeze, golden as the light that touches it. The Crystal Hall glows by the Caspian, a monument to a country that refuses to stop building. A grandmother teaches her granddaughter to bake lavash, flour, water, fire, and the memory of every woman who came before. The dough stretches thin between experienced hands, almost translucent, almost holy, and as night falls over Baku Bay, the city shimmers along the crescent of the Caspian shore. An old man watches the sunset from a stone wall by the sea. He has seen this view 10,000 times, and it has never been the same twice. A mother braids her daughter's hair on the porch of a stone house. Morning light, roosters in the yard, a day just beginning, flowers tucked between strands of dark hair. A small beauty in an ordinary morning. In autumn, Goigal National Park burns with color, red and gold surrounding a lake as blue as the sky above it. Hikers set out at sunrise, walking trails that have been walked for centuries, one careful step at a time. With the whole world spread out below, a village awakens. The first sunlight hits the stone houses one by one. A rooster crows, and another day begins. Morning dew on a spider's web, a jewel the size of a raindrop, gone. By noon, from a cliffside at golden hour, a young woman looks out across the Caucasus and feels the weight and the wonder of it all. At a Baku cafe at night, friends gather under string lights, and the flame towers glow behind them like a heartbeat. 2 glasses of tea clink together, and in that sound, an entire country says, "Welcome." Ancient ruins of a Caucasian Albanian church stand in silence, their arches open to the sky. A stone cross carved centuries ago. Moss fills the grooves. Time has softened everything, except the meaning. At dusk, a horse caravan crosses a stone bridge, the riders silhouetted against orange sky. A horse breathes heavily in the cool air. The bridle catches warm light, and for a moment, time is a rider too. In a small village, a mosque with white walls rises above red-tiled rooftops. An old man walks slowly toward prayer. A Soviet-era apartment block in Baku. Laundry on every balcony. Children in the courtyard. Real life. In real time, under New Year fireworks, 2 young lovers kiss. The sky explodes with color, and the future feels close enough to touch. The Azerbaijani flag waves one final time against a clear blue sky. The crescent, the star, the colors of fire, and earth, and faith. And a single ember floats upward into the darkness, glowing, fading, and finally, gone. This was Azerbaijan, the land of fire, and now, you know its secret.